All right, welcome back to the Cedar podcast, everyone. This is episode 16 of the podcast, and today I want to talk about public speaking. Now, before I begin, I hope you're all doing well. I hope that your lives are great. I hope that you're having a good day. Wherever you are in the world, I wish you a good afternoon, a good morning, a good evening. And let's get this show on the road. Let's get this started. So, public speaking. It is a very valuable skill to have these days, and it can be used in a variety of situations. It can be used in many situations you're put in, such as, let's say, if you have a team meeting and you have to discuss some things and you have to stand up next to a board and talk to your team. Public speaking skills are great to have. If you have a meeting with your boss, with some executives at your company, conference rooms, whatever. And here's another example actually. Let's say you have to give a speech at a wedding, at your friend's wedding. That's another situation where public speaking skills are great to have. Now, in this episode, I'm going to give you some tips on how to be a better public speaker. And I hope that you can, and everyone honestly must implement these if they want to succeed. But before I begin with those, honestly, why is public speaking very important? Well, having good public speaking skills can really boost your confidence in any of those previously mentioned situations without damaging your reputation. It can make you have good self-esteem. It can make you believe in yourself. It can just boost your confidence overall, which is why you need to work on improving your public speaking skills. But anyways, without further ado, let's begin with the tips. So, number 1 on how to be a better public speaker is to plan accordingly. You have to plan what you will say and how you will say it. So, depending on the topic that you're given, maybe write down what you want to say, practice that, okay? But you have to plan what you're going to say and how you will say it. You have to work on your tone and your pitch. And this brings me to the second tip, which is knowing your audience. Remember who you're about to speak to. You should know your audience. Now, let's say you are giving a presentation at work. You're going to use a more professional tone. This relates back to the tone. So you're going to be using a more professional tone if it's at work, and if it's, let's say, at a family gathering or a place something which is very, very casual, a very casual environment. You're going to be using a more casual tone. So number 1 and 2, they go hand in hand together. Know what you're going to say and know who you're about to say it to, and know how you will say it. Okay? Now those two can lead into the third tip, which is to practice, practice, and practice. This is just as important because the more you practice, the more natural you're going to appear in front of your audience. Now, I know some people are gifted in the fact that they don't have to practice at all and they are just naturally good speakers. But you know yourself. So practice if you need to practice. So just to summarize number 1 and 2. Plan what you will say and how you will say it. Remember your audience. Remember that they are the ones who are giving you their undivided attention. Know your audience. Work on your tone and your pitch. So how you will this is relating back to how you will say what you're going to say. And thirdly, it's to practice, practice, and practice. Just keep practicing until you can, until you got it. Just keep doing it. You know yourself. Practice times may differ between people, but you know yourself. Practice if you need it. Moving on to number 4. The fourth tip I can give you is to be passionate about what you say. Don't be monotonous. Don't be boring. Don't just, talk like this. Yeah, so today the environment is blah, blah, blah. Don't talk like that. Everyone is going to feel bored. Everyone just doesn't want to listen to you. They're not going to take you seriously, and they're going to stop listening to you. People will notice that, believe me. Be passionate about what you say. Show some passion. I always say that there needs to be more passion in the world. Honestly, I don't know, that's just something I feel is lacking in the world today. Just overall passion, enthusiasm. So be enthusiastic about what you say. Show some passion. Number 5, body language. All right, so body language is important as well. Maintain eye contact with the whole room. Don't just look at one section of the room because people are not going to like that. They're going to feel isolated, they're going to feel left out. Look at the whole room. Look at everyone equally. Now, I'm not saying to, rapidly move your eyes from left to right, like a weirdo. Just be natural. And this is honestly something you're going to hear me say a lot. It's to just be yourself, be natural. Don't force it out. All right, so maintaining eye contact is very, very crucial. Look at everyone equally, monitor, pretend like you're monitoring the room, going from one area to the next, okay? You can also use hand gestures to emphasize your key points. So hand gestures are very, very nice because they allow you to highlight the important takeaways from your speech. You don't have to use hand gestures in everything you say, but again, keep it natural. It will come naturally as you talk. And again, don't forget to practice, because when you practice, you will see that you just automatically use your hands. You don't even try to force the hand gestures. They just come out naturally. And finally, when it comes to body language, you can do a little bit of pacing around. So walk around a little bit if that makes you feel more comfortable. All right, moving on to number 6, and that is to engage with your audience. Okay, so the audience is there. Yes, they're there to hear you speak, but you can also engage with them. People love to be asked questions. Get them involved. Ask them questions. Give them a chance to let them ask you questions. People love that because it helps them. It makes them feel engaged. Just engage with them. Don't make the speech only about yourself. Now, this obviously depends on the nature of your speech, but engage with your audience. Trust me, they'll love it. You know how people always start a speech with a question? It's like, how many of you, by show of hands, how many of you did this? Or how many of you are this? It really keeps things, more interesting. It makes it more interesting. All right, so far we have 6 tips. And don't worry, I'm going to summarize them when I'm done. So I think there are about 3 to 4 more. But moving on to number 7, and this is very, very, I'm saying this is very important for every tip, but honestly all of these tips are important. Number 7 is to not read from a paper. Okay? Don't read from a paper. If you have a PowerPoint presentation or a keynote presentation or a screen that you have as a visual aid, don't read from them. Don't read from it. First of all, it looks unprofessional. Okay? And it looks like you did not practice at all and you're not taking this seriously, which might relate back to being unprofessional. And people don't want to see your back. They want to see your face. They want to see your emotions when you speak. They want to see your passion. They want to see your enthusiasm. So don't read from a paper or from a presentation. And I see this a lot. I saw this a lot back in university where people just, they have a piece of paper, an A4 paper in their hand, and you just look down at it and keep reading. No one wants to be there. I looked around the class. Nobody was interested. Everyone was on their phones. Nobody was engaged at all. It was one of the worst speeches I've ever witnessed. And I've seen a lot of examples like that, okay? Don't read from a piece of paper. Now, I'm not saying don't get any notes. And by the way, my personal opinion on having notes, I personally don't like to have notes because, I don't know, I just feel like it's more impressive if you don't have any notes with you. Now, I'm not saying that if you have notes, you should be belittled. No, because some people, they need the notes. Well, that's fine. But personally, I don't like to use notes. To each their own. But if you have to use notes, go ahead. But don't get a giant piece of paper. Don't get an A4 paper. Get those flashcards and try to keep them, behind your back. And if you have to refer back to them, then go for it. All right. So that is tip number 7. Tip number 8 is to maintain positivity. You should not get nervous. Now, everyone gets nervous. You need to learn to cope with your nerves. Everyone is there because they want you to succeed in your speech. Nobody is there to make you feel bad. No one is there to laugh at you. Everyone keeps thinking that. Everyone wants you to succeed in your speech. Because everyone at the end of the day knows that public speaking is one of the biggest fears in the world. We all want people to succeed in public speaking. So maintain positivity, maintain you know, maintain your mental state. Don't let your nerves get the better of you. Just be positive. And finally, at the end of your speech, if it was recorded, go ahead and watch it and learn from any mistakes you might have made. This is very helpful. Also, you can ask your friends for feedback. It's like, hey guys, how did I do? Was it good? Now, they're your friends. If they tell you that it was amazing, then chances are that the other people in your audience thought that it was amazing. So don't be afraid to ask for feedback. If your speech was recorded, go ahead, ask them for the tape, watch it back, learn from any mistakes you might have made for future speeches. But I think that is all of the tips I have for now. Let me just summarize them again. How to be a better public speaker. Tips. Number 1, plan accordingly. Plan what you will say and how you will say it. Number 2, remember who you're about to speak to. Know your audience. Number 3 is to practice. Number 4 is to show some passion in what you say. Don't be boring. Number 5 is to use body language in your speeches. Number 6 is to engage with your audience. Number 7 is to not read from a paper or from a presentation or whatever. Number 8 is to maintain positivity. Don't get nervous. And number 9 is to go and watch your speech. Ask for feedback from your friends to learn for the next speech you have in the future. But I think that is all for today. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm really passionate about public speaking. It's honestly one of my favorite skills. I like to continuously improve on it. And honestly, I think you should too. But anyways, I will see you guys next week for episode 17. And we're coming close to the next guest speaker appearing on the show. So get excited for that. But until next week, guys, I wish you all a good day. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. And yeah, see you next week. Bye-bye.